but it handles very well for how big it is. Yeah, going with the bumps and everything, again, having the extra sidewall on those tires helps out. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the all-new GMC Yukon AT4. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Provo GMC for giving me some time with this Yukon. This particular one is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Craig. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see that it's raised there on either side, which looks pretty cool. We've got these crazy C-shaped LED daytime running lights with the headlights, and then notice how the grille is kind of darker with the coloration. We've got the GMC logo there front and center. There's actually a camera in the center of the logo. And then we've got tow hooks down below, and then look at how the front end is sculpted to help out with approach angle. And then we do have some skid plate protection underneath, as well as fog lights there on either side. And putting it all together, the Yukon AT4 definitely has like that cool, aggressive off-roader appearance. Coming on the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265, 70, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheels themselves, you got the silver trim on the top and then it's black below that. This does also come with ride height adjustable air suspension, and we got a GMC logo here and then an AT4 badge down below. Notice the roof rails there at the top, and then this is the XL version, so you've got a little bit of a longer trunk area for more storage space. Now here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the opening for the glass in the back. And we'll press this a couple times to open that hatch up, and then notice GMC logo on the back. Now this is the big benefit of the XL. You have tons of storage space behind the third row. And then notice we've got these controls to lower down and raise the third row. And then for the second row, you can only lower them down. And would you look at that? More storage underneath. When you're all done, just press this button right here, and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now we've got these C-shaped taillights here in the back, and then we've got another GMC logo there in the center, Yukon, and then we have our AT4 badge off to the side, and then look how aggressive those exhaust tips are at the bottom. We also have parking sensors if you're wondering. And then finishing things up with the rear, we have a payload capacity of 1,461 pounds, and then a towing capacity of about 7,800 pounds with this Yukon. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, look at like the stitching there at the top. I love this trim piece down below, and then you guys can see how it's perforated down below that, and then pretty normal window controller there, and then look at the speaker for the Bose sound system. We've got these power side steps that pop out, and then we've got these seats with all the AT4 colors. Notice perforated all down the center, and then you have your adjustments here on the side. Legroom here in the back is fantastic. You guys can see you got a little storage pocket, and then we got some cup holders here. We've got our controls for the climate system, heated seats for the back, and then you got USBs as well as an outlet. And then headroom back here is also great. Legroom here in the back is fantastic, and then you guys can see you've got some cup holder action. Headroom's also great, and I forgot to mention, we have a USB back here. And yes, these back seats look just as nice as these seats in the second row. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see again with the stitching throughout, and the notice perforated down below. We've got all of our window controls. Front two are automatic, and then you guys can see the mirrors do power fold in. We also have our memory seat functionality and blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. AT4 here in the front headrest, and then perforated all down the center. We do have our power adjustments here on the side. Lots of AT4 logos. Anyways, we've got our parking brake up here, and then you guys can see this is for the lane departure, stability control, hill descent control, parking sensors. That's for your auto stop start, and then the 360 camera system. Your adjustments for the heads-up display, the steering wheel is power adjustable, trailer brake controls right next to that, light controls right next to that, and then next to that we have the driveline select. So this has four-wheel drive auto, four-wheel drive high, four-wheel drive low, and two-wheel drive high. And then you also have your air suspension to adjust that as well. So this is like your center control area, I guess is what we'll call it. So taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see the really nice trim all around, and then notice the contrasted stitching there in the center portion. We do have radio controls in the back of the steering wheel, as well as controls for the center stack. We got our heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel, and then we also have our cruise control there as well, and turn signal / windshield wiper stock. Full digital gauge cluster here in the center, and just like other modern gauge clusters, you can scroll through different menus, see different bits of info on systems within the vehicle. And we've got a drive mode select. So we've got a few different drive modes. We've got a sport, we've got an off-road, and then we have a tow haul. Notice it kind of shows what's happening with the Yukon, the drive modes. Now the different drive modes will adjust the air suspension accordingly, but you can also adjust the air suspension yourself. So notice we got a normal, we got an increased, and then we have a maximum ground clearance. Now you do have to be in, I believe, four-wheel drive or four-wheel drive low to be in maximum. Let's see, it'll probably tell us. Yeah, four-wheel drive low to be in maximum ground clearance, if you guys are wondering. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and yes, this has GM's full 360 camera system, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of because, I mean, it shows you every single angle on the vehicle. As for the infotainment system, pretty straightforward. We've got a shortcut bar here on the side, and then you guys can see with the center touchscreen, response time's great. It does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay integrated, as well as some Google integration, which is pretty cool. We've got our gear selector set up right here, so you guys can see, just press a bunch of buttons, pull a bunch of tabs, pretty straightforward. And then you've got your L to basically manually shift if you want. We have this random little storage cubby thing right there. And then down below you guys can see we've got our analog controls for the radio. Also for the dual zone climate system, again, you have your rear climate as well. And then we have heated and ventilated seats for the front. And then this is our charging area with a wireless phone charging pad and some USB action. We have a couple cup holders right here, and then look at all the padding and stitching throughout. Definitely looks nice. And then opening up the center console, pretty good storage space inside, and good glove box as well. And then look at the dash, also with all of the padding. Now this one just has GM's regular rear view mirror, and then we got some controls here for the full panoramic sunroof. There's also controls to like lower the seats, and then also for the hatch, and then universal garage door openers. So here's the window sticker for this 2023 Yukon XL. You guys can see lots of standard equipment there. Base MSRP $73,405, and then this one has like the AT4 premium package. Anyways, after all options, by the way, max trailing package as well. $86,060 is the total MSRP. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let us set right off in this Yukon AT4. Pull the steering wheel a little bit closer because I guess I have T-Rex arms today. Just for today. Normally I have longer arms. It's just today they've shortened. I'm just kidding. But anyways, setting off, this thing feels so good. Now I actually have a Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro as my tester this week, which you guys can see right there. I will be comparing it to this in another video. But I can tell you this feels like so much more of a luxury vehicle than that Sequoia. Don't get me wrong, the Sequoia is nice, but this thing with the air suspension and the independent front and rear suspension, it's quite a bit more comfortable, that is for sure. We just got so lucky. We have a green light. Ah, this is the best day ever. Let's get on that. Yeah, a little bit. That's solid. We'll get a better acceleration in just a moment, but that's just kind of like our partial acceleration. Yes, drives really well. Again, the independent suspension helps out the handling. Again, this is a pretty big vehicle, but it handles very well for how big it is. Yeah, going over the bumps and everything, again, having the extra sidewall on those tires helps out. Now, what I will say is I wish that GMC did like 18-inch wheels instead of these 20s, so you'd have even more sidewall on the tires, but it's still, it's a pretty decent enough level, that is for sure. Yeah, going over the bumps and everything, it's so comfortable. Yeah, I'm super impressed with how this drives. I think that this Honda Pilot is not familiar with this area because they're slowing down as if they're gonna have to go to a stop sign. There are no stop signs on this road. They're on the other roads, but not on this particular road. Heat steering wheel function, that's a nice thing to have today. It's definitely a cooler day here in Provo, Utah. Coming up to a stop. Definitely has truck brakes. You can feel that. That is for sure. You have to like kind of push into the pedal pretty hard. Okay, this will be kind of like our bigger acceleration. Woo! Wow, this engine's powerful, let me tell you. It moves. It definitely moves. There's another Sequoia, that's funny. They're probably gonna drive by and see the orange TRD Pro and they're gonna be like, I wish I had that one. But anyways, summing things up with this AT4, I think it looks great. Really nice interior. Definitely feels like a luxury SUV with the ride quality and then also with the interior materials. So GMC did a really good job with this. So if you want basically a luxury off-road 3-row SUV that is huge, because this is the XL, that's what this gives you. And I don't think any other automaker offers this, because I mean, obviously Chevy, which is, you know, also a GM product, you've got the Suburban Z71, but you can't get that in the long version. You can't get like, well, you can get the new Grand Wagoneer in the long version, but they don't really make like an off-road version of the Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer cheap. Ford doesn't offer the bigger version of the Timberline. So I think this is it. I think this is it. Let me know what you guys think.